What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my Week 13 NFL Power Rankings. But before I get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Gets 200 subscribers where we will be doing an autograph giveaway. Could be getting some autograph cards like this. Could be some autograph jerseys. So all you have to do is hit that subscribe button down below to be entered. But let's get into it here. And at 32, I have the Houston Texans. Not much to be said here, except they're a lock for Bryce Young or CJ Stroud at this point. The game-wise, they were down 30-0 at half, and they clawed back into it, but mostly because the Dolphins rested their starters. 31, I have the Rams. Aaron Donald's out 3 to 4 weeks. Allen Robinson's out for the year, so it just keeps getting worse for these Rams. Bryce Perkins didn't look too bad against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, but it was a tough challenge for him. And now they face the Seahawks at home in another tough opponent. 30, we got the Chicago Bears playing without Justin Fields with an injury. He, couldn't go this week, so Trevor Siemian was in line to start, and he did start, but it wasn't with some fluky, crazy stuff happening before the game. He got hurt in warm-ups, then gave it a go and played, but it just didn't matter for him. And Darnell Mooney, he's out for the year with an ankle injury, so they're looking to get back on the board here with the Packers coming to town at home. At 29, I got the Denver Broncos coming off an ugly loss in Carolina. Pretty much this team is just going through it. The defense has been really good this year, surprisingly, after trading away some key pieces, but Russell Wilson just hasn't been it this year. The run game and Latavius Murray, he did pretty well, but other than that, there was really nothing going well for this Broncos team. At 28, the Panthers tune in here, moving up to their highest ranking of the year, which is very bad. But they get a huge win here to stay in the race for the NFC South. They're only a game and a half behind, which is crazy to me. But moving forward, Sam Darnold will more than likely be the starter. 1-0 this year, so he's really been doing good. Deonta Foreman, he had a good game as well, but they're going into a bye with a little bit of hope. 27, I have the Saints. They are falling way back here because they didn't score, and they still held the 49ers to 13 points, which is pretty good, but they had their chances to even win this game, but they just couldn't capitalize. First time held scoreless there in 332 games. 26, I have the Cleveland Browns with a overtime victory over the Bucs at home. And now Deshaun Watson is back for this game in Houston. So let's see what they can do. Brissett did pretty good with his weapons, and we'll see how Watson can utilize them. But I think Kareem Hunt is going to be the factor moving forward. They're going to have to get him more involved in the passing game if this team really wants to take it to another level. 25, I have the Jaguars. They get the 2-point conversion at the end with the 2-minute drive, and they get the win at home over a good Ravens team. Now they're going to Detroit. Should be a good game. 4-7 teams looking for that win. But if they get that one, they're 5-7. Maybe this team is really doing something. But you can look at Lawrence's last game. He's playing really good football right now, and he is pretty much putting this team in a position every game to get a win. 24, I have the Raiders with the overtime victory over the Seahawks. And this one is all about Josh Jacobs, totaling 303 yards with 2 touchdowns, and obviously the long touchdown run in overtime to get the win. But this team has a 2-game winning streak, and they look like they're trending in the right direction here. Derek Carr, he's playing really good, in my opinion. I don't think he is the problem there. So maybe he comes back, maybe not for next year, but they have a tough task this week with the Chargers at home. And if they can win this one, then don't count these Raiders out just yet. 23, I have the Colts. They lost Monday Night Football last night to the Steelers, and this was mostly because they couldn't get anything going in the first half. It was a must-win in my book for these Colts. 5-6-1 isn't as bad as 4-7-1, so they traveled to Dallas this week in a tough matchup for them. And I think it's going to be tough for them to get out of this hole. But hey, Jeff Saturday has looked good as a head coach as he's kept them in every single game. 22, I have those Steelers. Get the win. Mike Tomlin's now 19-3 on Monday Night Football. Benny Snell stepped up because Najee went down, but I think it's not too severe. He should be playing next week, I believe. Kenny Pickett's looked great as well. And it's going to be a game for both those teams, the Falcons and Steelers, that kind of is going to decide their season moving forward. Steelers can pull that one off. Maybe they still keep going for that playoff spot, but right now they're in the in-between. 21, I have the Packers, and my Packers, well, they kept it close, and I was kind of surprised by that, but at what cost? Because Rodgers went down with a rib injury. Love came in, did pretty well, but he is on track to play this week, Aaron Rodgers. Nothing too serious, I believe. The defense is a whole nother story. They gave up 363 rushing yards to Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, and then the other running backs, but those two combined for 300 exactly. And that's a problem moving forward with the Bears because Justin Fields is a mobile quarterback and could do just the same thing. So maybe, just maybe, if Fields is playing, they gotta have QB contain on all the time. 20, the Falcons move back one spot, and this is in part to them almost winning this game, but the end zone INT at the end sealed their fate. If they would have won this week, they would have had a share of the NFC South lead with the Bucks, and Mariota is putting the team in a position to win every week. But if they get the win this week at Steelers 6-7 and the Bucks lose again, they are tied. And it's crazy to me that you think the Falcons here have a shot to win the NFC South 12 games in at 5-7. But hey, that's the world we live in. 19, I have the Detroit Lions. This Lions team kept it close throughout the whole game against the Bills, potentially had the chance to win it, but just couldn't hold the Bills at the end in the final drive. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a great game. Jared Goff played pretty well, but this Lions defense just let them down yet again in the end. 18, I have the Cardinals. And yes, I'm moving them up 5 spots here, even after a loss. I think this team played a ton better under Kyler Murray. The ground game was there. James Conner did very good. And he is the factor if the Cardinals are going to play good or not. James Conner. If he has a bad game, then more than likely this team does not do well. But he had a really good game, and a 2-point conversion burnt them in the end. So if you look at it, I think it's a good loss for these Cardinals. But right now, any loss is not a good loss because they are 4-8. 17, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ugly loss in Cleveland. Very surprising loss as well. But they still have a lead in the NFC South by half a game because the Falcons lost as well. But Tristan Wirfs is out 3 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury, and that's a problem. Moving forward, how are they going to handle that? But we're going to have to see. 16, I have the Los Angeles Chargers, and they beat those Cardinals, moving up 1 spot here. It's tough to rate these Chargers right now through 11 games. They haven't been fully healthy. Mike Williams, hopefully he's back this week so they can get a fully healthy team. And Keenan Allen's looked good in his 2 games back. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see if these Chargers can get the win. 15, I have the New York Giants with a tough loss to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And this team, well, the third quarter did them in. They couldn't get anything going. And that's essentially how they got behind and didn't really have a shot in this one. Saquon also didn't play very good as well. And they're 0-2 in the NFC East, which is something to look at going forward because they play the Commanders this week. They need that win, not just for the NFC East standpoint, but to stay alive in the playoff picture. Because if they lose this one, then people might start to think that they just had a good first half and are starting to collapse here in the second half. 14, I have the Washington Commanders with the big win over the Falcons, and they needed it. 7-5 right now. They're 5-1 since they replaced Carson Wentz with Taylor Heinicke. And he's played good as well, too. He's been a great game manager. They're finding ways to win. They all rally around him. And Chase Young looks like he might be back this week as well. I know I've said it a few weeks in a row here. He had an illness this week, so hopefully he gets over that and he's fully healthy and he's good to go against the Giants. 13, I have the Patriots standing still here. Tough loss on Thursday night against those Vikings, and now they get the Bills on Thursday as well. The run game didn't really have anything going. Damien Harris is out for the Bills game as well, and Mac Jones played pretty well in this game, but just couldn't do enough to get past those Vikings. It's going to be interesting to see here. If the Patriots get the win versus the Bills, then this team's moving up, but if they lose here at 6-6, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle the season moving forward. 12, I have the New York Jets getting a big win thanks to Mike White. It's now his team, at least for another week. 3 touchdowns, 315 yards passing. He led the team to a season-high 466 yards. And, well, the running backs is a big mess right now. James Robinson didn't play. Carter went down. Zonovan Knight's first game went off. So, interesting situation there for the running backs. 11, I have the Seattle Seahawks. And, they had a tough loss in overtime to the Raiders. But, hey, they're bringing back those 1990 uniforms, so that's something to monitor going forward. DK had a great game. Geno had a decent game, but the running game went MIA, and they just couldn't get it done. But luckily, they do have the Rams this week who were banged up and looked like a candidate for a bounce-back win. 10, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Tough luck loss, another blown fourth quarter lead, and they get the Broncos this week, so they don't score a lot. So hopefully they should win that one, but they are tied in the AFC North with Cincinnati. As we come down to these weeks 16, 17, 18, it's going to be interesting to see how this AFC North plays out. 9, I have the Tennessee Titans with a tough loss to the Bengals. And well, Derrick Henry was not a factor in this game. He had that one catch for about 70 yards and then fumbled where his teammate scored. But other than that, he just was not involved. Treylon Burks looks pretty good. Ever since he is back from his injury, he has been playing at a good rate. Tannehill just did okay, I guess, in this one. Nothing too spectacular. The defense has been the story for the Titans this year. This is the most points they've allowed since week 2, which is crazy to me, only 20 points. So the defense is keeping them in a lot of games, even when they can't score. At 8, I have the Cincinnati Bengals beating those Titans. And now they get the Chiefs this week in another tough matchup. But they are tied in the AFC North with Baltimore, and maybe not after this week. If they lose this one, then I'm sure Baltimore is going to win. But T. Higgins, Samaje Perine, and Joe Burrow all had great days, and they still get Mixon back off of his concussion, and Jamar Chase is trending to play this week as well. So Bengals are at full strength, and we're really going to see what they can do against the Chiefs. 7, the 49ers are moving up a little bit. They won 13-0 versus Saints. Their 4th straight win, 3rd game in a row where the defense has held the other team scoreless in the second half. But on the negative note, Elijah Mitchell, he's out 6 to 8 weeks, so mostly for the regular season. He's done. Tough blow for them, but McCaffrey can handle that workload as he has in recent years. So expect the Niners to not miss a beat. 6, the Vikings are moving up 1 spot with a good win on Thursday against the Patriots. Tough defense. They kind of just carved them up. Defense really wasn't a problem for them. They have a 5-game lead in the NFC North. They can clinch the division this week with a win and an actual Lions loss. But this Vikings team, I think they had a rough patch of games there a week 2 ago against the Dallas. Wasn't really too good, but they bounced back really well. And then they also have Justin Jefferson, and that helps when he's, pretty much setting NFL record and every week. So expect them maybe to bounce back this week against the Jets, which should be a good game. Starting the top 5, I have the Cowboys. Good win on Thursday over the Giants. Really solidified them as the 2nd best team in the NFC East. Micah Parsons is one of my front runners for MVP that isn't a quarterback. CeeDee had a good game. Zeke had another good game off of his injury, his 2nd straight game. And Dak only had 3 incompletions. So this Cowboys team is trending in the right direction. At 4, I have the Miami Dolphins, who were up 30-0 at half over the Texans, and then coasted to that 30-15 win. They are down half a game in the AFC East, but they do have the tiebreaker with Buffalo right now. So after a few weeks here, this Miami team might be winning that AFC East 8-0 when he starts and finishes the game healthy. So as long as they got Tua at the helm and he's healthy playing, this Dolphins team is going to win. 3, the Buffalo Bills are falling after a win, and you can understand why. It is the Lions, but they shouldn't have kept it as close, I think. They played bad in this one. I mean, they still won, which is still good, but bad to my standards. I think they could have done more, missed on a lot of things. Josh Allen played decent, but the game-winning kick obviously saved him for the win. If, it would have been a very bad loss on the resume, dropped to 7-4, but that's not the case right now. They get the Patriots on Thursday in New England. So we're going to see how they can handle that situation because, they blew them out in the playoffs last year. The Patriots win game was a crazy thing. Hopefully this is normal weather and we'll really see what these Bills can do. 2, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. And, well, they beat my Packers on Sunday night. And doing so, they totaled 363 rushing yards. Miles Sanders obviously went off, and so did Jalen Hurts. And it was a tough time trying to slow those 2 down in the rushing game, but they get the Titans this week with a better defense, and it's going to be, I think, a lower scoring game where running is going to be the primary focus of both teams. And at 1, for the first time this year, I have the Kansas City Chiefs with in their words, not a good win. They won 26-10, which was by 16 points. They covered the spread as well. They had problems in the red zone. The punt return fumble wasn't the best. Just miscommunications on a few plays. So this Chiefs team looks like they can hopefully get it back around here against the Bengals. And if they do that, then no doubt in my mind, this will still be the number 1 team next week. But that's going to be it for the video today. If you liked it, hit that like button down below. Comment below where your team ranks. As always, subscribe to our channel for that 200 subscriber giveaway. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.